Welcome to China Idol Spotlight, where the glitz and glamour of the stage meets behind-the-scenes secrets. Tonight, we'll take you behind the scenes of a story that's shaking up the Chinese entertainment world. A superstar, always flawless in front of the camera, is now in the spotlight not for his new work, but for a secret love story that's shaking up the internet. Is it true that Wang Yibo, the idol of millions of fans, is in a relationship with the beautiful and mysterious young Chinese heiress Qi Meihe? Who exactly is this girl? How did this love story become public knowledge? And what will be the reactions of his agency and the millions of fans who have always loved him? Get ready, because tonight we're going to reveal everything in our signature exclusive, elegant, and emotional China Idol Spotlight style. So, turn on your notifications, sit back, and let us take you behind the scenes of the most romantic and risky stories in modern Chinese entertainment. That night, the Chinese internet scene suddenly turned chaotic. Weibo, the most popular social media platform in East Asia, was suddenly filled with the familiar name of Wang Yibo. Within minutes, his name topped the trending topic. But this time, it wasn't because of his entertainment achievements or a major film project, but because of news that even his fans weren't prepared for. Wang Yibo is dating a young Chinese heiress. That was the headline that appeared on various digital news portals that night. Fans online immediately panicked. WeChat fan groups exploded. Fan page admins around the world exchanged messages. Is this true? Where did it come from? Are there photos? Comments flooded every post related to Yibo's name. Some were in disbelief, some were shocked, and still others wrote long sentences filled with emotions. A mix of jealousy, admiration, and curiosity. Meanwhile, digital media outlets like NetEase, Sina, and Sohu began reporting on the same topic. Wang Yibo allegedly dating wealthy heiress, Qi Meihe. It didn't take long for the news to spread throughout the entertainment world. Within hours, the topic was being discussed on forums, YouTube channels, and even international gossip accounts. Even Korean and Japanese media outlets wrote short articles about the same issue. And most interesting of all, Wang Yibo, who had always been known as a cool, professional figure and almost never involved in love rumors, was suddenly linked to someone completely outside the entertainment world. Not a fellow artist, not an influencer, not even a model, but a young heiress to a large Chinese conglomerate family. The girl's name was Qi Meihe. Within hours, public curiosity skyrocketed. Who was she? Had Wang Yibo, the idol who had always maintained a sterile image, finally found love behind the glitz and glamour of the stage? While rumors were spreading wildly, his agency had yet to comment. This silence only added to the mystery. And as usual in the Chinese entertainment world, when something isn't immediately clarified, rumors tend to spread faster than the truth itself. Fans began searching for clues. They dug through old posts, looking for traces of interactions, matching post dates, and even clothing colors. There were subtle signs, but Yibo was too good at hiding them, wrote one fan account on Weibo. In less than a night, discussions about Wang Yibo's secret love had garnered over 100 million views. China's online world was literally on fire. But beneath the online clamor, behind the screams of fans and the flashes of cameras, one simple question hung in the air. Has Wang Yibo, previously known as cold and career-focused, really opened his heart to a girl named Qi Meihe? Amidst the spotlights focused on Wang Yibo, a new name slowly emerged. A name previously rarely heard in the entertainment world, but well known in China's elite business circles, Qi Meihe. Qi Meihe is no ordinary girl. She was born into a family known as a major shareholder in the real estate and energy investment sectors in eastern China. Since childhood, she has been accustomed to living among businessmen, diplomats, and high-class socialites. But behind that glamour, there is a soft and mysterious side that has piqued the public's curiosity. According to reports, NetEase founder Qi Meihe is the only child of Qi Zhenghua, a prominent businessman with numerous property projects in Beijing, Chengdu, and Shanghai. Her mother is a former fashion designer who is now active in social work and philanthropy. She grew up in an environment that nurtured her to be elegant, intelligent, and sophisticated. She studied abroad at University College London, majoring in economics and design management. There, she was known not only for her beauty, but also for her intelligence and calm personality. Her friends even nicknamed her the calm heiress, an heiress who preferred reading a book in the park to partying at a nightclub. After graduating, Qi Meihe returned to Beijing and began working at her family's company. Interestingly, however, she kept her status as an heiress low-key. She frequently participated in social activities, helping rural children, supporting environmental programs, and even became a regular donor to a literacy project in Yunnan. She did all of this out of the media spotlight. It wasn't until rumors of her relationship with Wang Yibo surfaced that the public began to investigate her background, uncovering hundreds of old photos, short video interviews, and business magazine articles about her. It was then that the public began to realize something interesting. The two had attended the same event several years ago. A charity gala themed Youth for Nature was held in Beijing in 2021. At that time, Wang Yibo attended as a young conservation ambassador, while Qi Meihe represented the main sponsor. It's unknown if they had already met at the time. But photos from the event show a brief exchange of glances among the crowd, which sparked a relationship. Their relationship may have developed from social collaboration, not from the entertainment world. They are both calm, professional people, and have an interest in nature and social activities. Despite this, Qi Meihe maintains her privacy. Her personal social media accounts rarely reveal her face or her personal life. In fact, some posts believed to be hers simply contain photos of landscapes, flowers, or quotes from classical literature. However, observant netizens began to notice a hidden pattern. For example, a photo of white lilies she posted on May 5th turned out to be the same flowers that appeared in Wang Yibo's photo promoting a perfume brand that same day. It's small, but enough to spark major speculation. There was also news that the two were seen in Hangzhou, at a riverside restaurant known for its privacy. Although there were no clear photos of them together, several eyewitnesses reported seeing a man wearing a black hat and mask walking alongside a young woman dressed simply but elegantly. It wasn't hard for fans to guess who they were. But is all of this concrete evidence? Or is it just a coincidence too perfect to ignore? The Chinese entertainment world is always full of riddle. Often, behind every big rumor, there's a more complex story than meets the eye. For fans who have long followed Wang Yibo's career, Qi Meihe feels like someone who enters quietly but leaves a deep impression. She's not the typical woman who chases the spotlight, but rather someone who makes many wonder, how could this quiet girl win the heart of someone as strong and introverted as Wang Yibo? The Chinese entertainment world isn't just defined by artists and their agencies. There's another force far greater, more unpredictable, and sometimes more dangerous. That force is fandom. After Wang Yibo's decision to refuse to star in a drama with Zhao Lusi Yang Zi, what was once a small spark turned into a full-blown storm online. Weibo, the platform known as the hub of all celebrity talk, suddenly became a digital battlefield. Thousands of posts, millions of comments, and a never-ending hashtag war. Fans of Yibo, Lucy, and Yang Zi were engaged in the biggest argument of the year. A battle not with swords but with words. Yibo rejected the project because he felt his character wasn't strong enough compared to the two female leads. Within hours, the sentiment exploded. Zhao Lusi's fans began sharing screenshots and writing, "If you don't want to, don't underestimate the other characters." Yang Zi's fans were also enraged. Yibo should be grateful to be given the opportunity to be in the same frame as an actress of Yang Zi's caliber. Meanwhile, Yibo's fans didn't remain silent. They wrote a lengthy reply. "Please respect professional decisions." Yibo didn't refuse out of ego, but out of principle. Interestingly, this war wasn't just a mere argument. Chinese fandoms are highly structured. There are fast uploading teams, rumor research teams, and even media analysis teams that monitor their opponents' movements. Yibo's fans are known for their unity and strategic acumen. On the surface, it seems like a personal choice. But if you dig deeper, the story is much more complex. The Chinese entertainment industry is driven not only by artists, but also by large agencies that control the direction of their careers. Each agency has its own networks, media connections, and vested interests. Wang Yibo himself is under the auspices of a large agency known for being highly protective and selective about its artists' projects. This agency has a reputation for closely guarding Yibo's image, ensuring that every appearance, interview, and project he takes on supports Yibo's position as a premium artist. When the Blooming Destiny project came up, rumors suggested that the production team was working with a network closely connected to Zhao Lusi's agency. This is where subtle politics began to play. Because in the entertainment world, collaboration between agencies isn't always mutually beneficial. Sometimes, a single decision can change the power structure. According to industry sources, the relationship between Wang Yibo's agency and one of the senior managers of the Blooming Destiny production team had been strained for several years. The difference of opinion arose over an endorsement deal, where the production felt Yibo's agency was demanding too much control over his image and marketing. Since then, their relationship has been cautious. So when the Blooming Destiny project began to be discussed, some within Yibo's agency were immediately wary. If the project went ahead, Yibo would indeed gain significant attention, but it would also be entering someone else's domain. For Yibo's agency, this was unacceptable. They would rather let go of a major project than lose control over how Yibo was perceived by the public. In any major project, negotiations go beyond just pay and schedule. There are more sensitive issues: image rights, the placement of names on posters, and how characters are portrayed in promotional media. A source within the production team stated that the Blooming Destiny team initially wanted to highlight Zhao Lusi and Yang Zi as the two female leads with larger narrative roles. Meanwhile, the male lead character offered to Wang Yibo was portrayed as more mysterious, even somewhat struck by fate. For an artist of Yibo's stature, such a position could be considered risky. Because in the entertainment world, public perception is crucial to a career's trajectory. If the character didn't work out, the public would judge Yibo for failing to deliver. Conversely, if the character was too strong, it could spark rumors of rivalry among fans, something his agency always tried to avoid. After lengthy discussions without agreement, the agency opted for the most subtle strategy of silence. They didn't officially announce their rejection, didn't write a statement to the media, and didn't even comment when rumors began to spread. But behind the scenes, the decision had already been made long before. They simply waited for the news to filter out to the public, making it appear as Yibo's personal decision, not an agency directive. And the strategy worked. Wang Yibo's name remained clean. There were no statements to twist, no confirmations to misinterpret. Meanwhile, the Blooming Destiny project lost momentum, having lost one of its main attractions. Yibo's decision to reject the project apparently had a domino effect. Several brands' major companies that were initially prepared to sponsor the project postponed their contracts until they could see who the replacement actor would be. Some even withdrew altogether, believing the drama's ratings wouldn't be the same without Yibo. This demonstrates the immense influence of a top artist in China. A single move can change a multi-million yuan business strategy. Meanwhile, entertainment media outlets began to write a different narrative. Some praised Yibo's decision as a smart, professional move. But others viewed it as a cold move, a sign that Yibo was becoming increasingly cautious and difficult to work with. However, for his fans, this is precisely what makes Yibo special. He's not a star who pursues random projects. On the other hand, Zhao Lusi and Yang Zi faced immense pressure. After news of Yibo's rejection broke, the media continued to highlight their reactions. Lucy was said to be trying to maintain professionalism, attending meetings with the production team, while Yang Zi preferred to focus on other projects already scheduled. Although neither of them directly mentioned Yibo, the public could sense the lingering tension. Some Lucy fans even wrote on Weibo. Even without Yibo, Zhao Lusi could still make this drama success. Yibo fans responded coldly to the comment, "We'll see how the ratings go." The small social media debate heated up again, demonstrating how a single artist's decision can divide public opinion for weeks. Behind all the rumors and debate, one thing is becoming increasingly clear: the Chinese entertainment world is never free from the quiet politics between agencies. Who works with whom, who rejects whom, all have deeper meanings than meets the eye. Yibo's rejection isn't simply not fitting the script, but could be part of a long-term strategy designed to maintain his position and power in the industry. Because in a world ruled by reputation and perception, true power lies not in the number of projects accepted, but in the ability to choose wisely. And that's what sets Wang Yibo apart. Now, Blooming Destiny is moving forward with a replacement actor. But the shadow of Wang Yibo's name still lingers in every news story about the drama. Behind his calm smile, Wang Yibo is writing a new chapter in his career, not with words, but with choices. Because sometimes, the steps not taken are the boldest. Thank you for watching China Idol Spotlight. The entertainment world always holds unseen stories behind the cameras, behind the smiles, and behind the decisions that change everything. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. They gathered evidence from old interviews, official agency statements, and promotional data to debunk rumors that were negative about their idol. On the other hand, Zhao Lusi and Yang Zi's fans used the power of visuals. They circulated video clips, photos, and fan-made edits to show how ideal a Lusi Yibo or Yang Zi Yibo couple would be if they were actually in the same project. Their goal was simple: to shape public opinion that Yibo was the loser, not the other way around. However, online opinion wars are unpredictable. Within 2 days, the reputations of these 3 major artists were shaken. Not through any fault of their own, but because of the opinions generated by thousands of internet users. This major war isn't just between fandoms. Even within the fandom itself, divisions are occurring. Some Yibo fans believe it's better to remain silent and not respond to the rumors at all. But others feel that silence means defeat. Some fanbases have even closed their accounts, unable to withstand the attacks and slander. On the other hand, fans of Zhao Lusi and Yang Zi have also begun blaming each other. If only Yang Zi hadn't been linked to the drama, the war wouldn't have escalated to this extent. In fact, because Lusi was the first to be discussed by netizens, Yibo was affected. These comments have complicated the situation, making it difficult to discern who actually started the conflict. Some entertainment observers believe this fandom war is nothing new. But what makes it interesting is its scale and impact. In 1 week, hashtags related to Yibo, Lusi, and Yang Zi recorded over 800 million views on Weibo. A number usually only achieved by major political issues. Because an artist's popularity is now determined not only by their talent and projects, but also by the strength of the online army behind them. On the other hand, their popularity actually soared. Despite the controversy, Wang Yibo's name once again dominated trending topics on almost every platform. The entertainment world is indeed a paradox. Scandals can damage reputations, but they can also strengthen existence. And amidst all the chaos, Wang Yibo remained silent. He didn't make a single comment, not on Weibo, not in interviews. Silent, but influential. Like a storm that's calm on the surface, but raging beneath. After almost a month, the intensity of the war began to subside. But not because the problem was resolved, but because public attention shifted to other topics. Yet the wounds in the fandom remained. Inter-community relationships were damaged, several major accounts disappeared, and some fans chose to go on hiatus. But for observers, this was just a new chapter in the dynamics of the modern entertainment world, where popularity and controversy go hand in hand. And amidst it all, Wang Yibo remained a symbol not only of composure, but also of control. In a noisy world, silence can be the ultimate form of power. The fandom war between Wang Yibo, Zhao Lusi, and Yang Zi may have subsided, but its impact is still felt today. The Chinese entertainment world has once again demonstrated that behind the glitz and the spotlight, there's a sea of emotions, ambitions, and strategies that are never truly visible. And sometimes, it's not the big projects that determine the direction of an artist's career, but how they weather the storms that come without warning. Wang Yibo is known as an artist who rarely speaks, almost never responding to rumors, and always appears calm as if there's no storm around him. But behind that calm lies a well-thought-out strategy that allows him to survive in a relentless industry. This is the story of Wang Yibo's strategy of silence, how he turned silence into strength and pressure into a stepping stone to greater heights. Since the beginning of his career, Yibo has been known as a man of few words. He often responds briefly, with calculated body language. Many consider this trait to be a sign of a reclusive personality, but for those who know him closely, it's part of a master plan. In the Chinese entertainment world, where a single word can be a weapon for the media, silence is protection. Every celebrity has their own safe zone, and for Yibo, that zone is complete control over what comes out of his mouth. He doesn't want his words to be misinterpreted. Because he knows, one wrong sentence can ruin a career. Yibo understands one important thing: reputation isn't built on words, but on consistency. Instead of lengthy clarifications, he chose to demonstrate his professionalism through his actions. Every project he took on always had an implicit message. From The Untamed, which brought him global recognition, to the film Hidden Blade, which showcased his mature side as an actor. All these choices were part of a career narrative he carefully controlled. He didn't want to be known for personal drama. He wanted to be remembered for the quality of his work. And the strategy worked. While many celebrities fall due to controversy, Yibo actually grows stronger with each rumor. Behind Yibo's every move is a small team working with precision. They aren't just managers and staff, but media analysts, reputation analysts, and narrative controllers. This team is tasked with reading the direction of public opinion and determining when to react. Or when it's better to remain silent. When rumors surfaced about his rejection of Zhao Lusi and Yang Zi, Yibo's team didn't rush into a statement. They knew that in the digital world, public emotions only linger for a short time before shifting to a new issue. By allowing time to work, they managed to avoid the trap of overreaction that could prolong the conflict. Because sometimes, the greatest power isn't in the hands that move quickly, but in the head that can wait patiently. In many interviews, Yibo appears relaxed, almost cold. But that's not because he doesn't care, but because he knows the public fears the unpredictable. That cool, calm demeanor creates a sense of mystery that keeps people talking about him non-stop. This is a psychological effect often exploited by big agencies. When the public doesn't know what you're thinking, they'll guess. And as long as they guess, you remain the center of attention. By not explaining, Yibo keeps his image alive in the public imagination. He becomes a mirror onto which everyone projects their own opinions of him. In a world hungry for drama, silence is a form of rebellion. And Yibo rebels in his own way, without anger, without clarification, without a stage. Many people think power comes from the loudest voice. But Yibo proves otherwise. By remaining silent, he forces others to talk about him. By remaining silent, he resists the media's game of provoking emotional reactions. By remaining silent, he maintains complete control of his narrative. Many young artists are now emulating Yibo's communication style. They are learning to be more careful, calmer, and more focused. In the digital age, where one small mistake can go viral in seconds, Yibo's approach is considered an ideal example. He inspires a new generation of artists not to always chase attention, but to build a presence with grace and patience. Because calm doesn't mean weak. Sometimes it's a symbol of self-control that not everyone can possess. Throughout his career, Yibo has proven that lasting popularity isn't built on hype, but on discipline and consistency. He never strives to be the loudest. But that's precisely why his voice is heard the clearest. The world may be full of opinions, but few people know how to remain calm in the midst of a storm. And Wang Yibo is one of them. Behind his calm gaze and gentle smile lies a story rarely talked about. Wang Yibo, a star known for his professionalism and steadfastness, is also a man who has fallen in love, been hurt, and learned to remain silent. The world only sees his fame, achievements, and near-perfect career. But not many know that behind all of that lies a story that shaped who he is today. This is the secret of love that was never revealed. A story not recorded in the news, but felt in every glance he gives on screen. Several years before his fame reached its peak, Yibo was just a young man with big dreams and an innocent heart. At that age, love came unplanned. Not in the flash of camera lights, but in the silence between two people who understood each other. According to several sources close to him, Yibo had a brief relationship with someone in the entertainment world as well. It's unknown who they were, as both kept things very discreet. They met on set, supported each other through difficult times, and shared dreams of an uncertain future. However, like many behind-the-scenes love stories in the industry, the relationship didn't last. Not because of lost feelings, but because the world around them was too noisy to allow space for the fragile silence of love. In the world of Chinese celebrities, love is often seen as a threat to image. Fans want their idols to be perfect, untouchable, and seemingly exist only for their careers. Because of this, many artists choose to hide their relationships from the public, including Yibo. He knew all too well that a single photo together could spark 1,000 speculations. So, their love was kept quiet. No posts, no confessions, just feelings hidden amidst busy schedules and the glare of cameras. And when external pressure began to come from agencies, the media, and even overprotective fandoms, they ultimately chose the most painful path. After the breakup, Yibo changed. He became calmer, more cautious, and more unpredictable. People called him cold, but perhaps it was just his way of protecting himself from the same pain. In an old interview, when asked about love, Yibo simply replied calmly, "I don't have much time for such things right now." But in his eyes, there was a flash of unconcealable emotion. It was as if there was something he wanted to say, but chose not to. Because sometimes, silence isn't a sign of forgetting, but a form of respect for memories that words don't want to ruin. Although he never speaks directly about love, Yibo often conveys it through his on-screen roles. In several dramas and films, his characters always carry an aura of deep loneliness, like someone who has loved but lost. In one scene in Hidden Blade, for example, his blank stare in the dim light moved many viewers to tears. Not because of the dialogue, but because of the raw emotion, as if he truly felt the loss. Longtime fans believe that a small part of each of Yibo's roles is an honest slice of his own life. Yibo once said on a show, "There are things that are more beautiful if they're not talked about." That simple sentence captures his view of love. He doesn't want to share everything with the public. Not all happiness needs to be announced. And not all pain needs to be known to others. For him, true love isn't about public recognition, but about a feeling that lingers even when unseen. And perhaps, amidst his busy schedule, behind the exhausting schedule and the constant spotlight, there's one name he still remembers. Even though he never mentions it. Uniquely, Wang Yibo's fans can sense that soft side without him having to admit it. They know that beneath his charisma and assertive demeanor lies a sensitive, empathetic, and easily touched person. They love him not just for his good looks or talent, but for the way he quietly loves the world. Yibo rarely expresses affection verbally, but he shows his care through small gestures, greeting fans with a gentle smile, respecting others' privacy, and never exploiting controversy for personal gain. In his silence, he teaches many that love doesn't always have to be announced. It can simply be felt and nurtured. Time passes, and Yibo grows into a more mature person. He no longer seeks a noisy or dramatic love, he seeks tranquility. And perhaps, one day, when the time is right, he will let the world know about the person he has been protecting in silence. But until that day comes, he chooses to walk alone, not because he is incapable of love, but because he respects the journey his life has taught him so much. That true love isn't about possessing, but about understanding and peacefully letting go. Wang Yibo's secret love may never be fully revealed. But that's precisely why his story feels so much more beautiful. He doesn't need words to express what he once felt. His smile is enough to explain everything, the pain, the longing, and the strength to keep going even after a broken heart. In a world that loves to flaunt everything, Yibo chooses to be rare. He loves silently, and that's what makes him so lovable. In every serene step on stage, in every precise dance move, and in every confident look in his eyes, few know that it all stems from a long journey filled with pain, sweat, and courage. Wang Yibo is a name now synonymous with perfection, grace, and dedication. But long before he became an Asian icon, he was just a young man with a simple dream of dancing. In his teens, Yibo wasn't known for being popular at school. He was quiet, shy, and often spent time alone. But there was one thing that made his eyes shine: music and movement. Every time he danced, the world seemed to stop. On the streets, in cramped practice rooms, even in his own bedroom, he expressed himself through dance. But the world didn't immediately give him a stage. His parents were initially worried, because dancing wasn't an easy path to a stable future. Yet Yibo remained steadfast, choosing to forge his own path, even without guarantees. In his teens, Yibo left his family, friends, and the comfort of his home to undergo rigorous training. The trainee world was not a friendly one. His days were filled with hours of dance practice, rigorous evaluations, and the pressure to be perfect. Many would have given up, but Yibo didn't. He knew that every pain he felt today was an investment in a greater future. Even when his body was exhausted and his mind was on the verge of collapse, he continued dancing because dancing was the only thing that made him feel alive. That determination became the foundation for everything that was to come. The following years brought profound changes as Yibo began his acting career. And project after project paved the way for true stardom. Every movement was meaningful, every expression carried an emotional depth rarely seen at his age. The world finally saw who Wang Yibo truly was, not just an idol, but a true artist. From there, his career exploded. He became the face of numerous global brands, performed on international stages, and elevated China's reputation to new heights in the entertainment world. People often assume that Yibo's charisma is innate. But in truth, it's the result of years of discipline. He always pays attention to every detail, from his posture to the smallest facial expressions. He never looks careless in public, never overreacts to rumors, and always presents the best version of himself. That's why the public calls him the symbol of Asian elegance. Because he's not only handsome, but also calm, controlled, and classy in every step. In an era where many celebrities chase sensationalism, Yibo chooses silence and consistency. On the one hand, there was news that Wang Yibo had turned down an offer for a historical romance drama that would have paired him with Zhao Lusi and Yang Zi. On the other hand, new rumors emerged that Wang Yibo's name had never been officially proposed for the project. However, for the online world, what matters is not the facts but the narrative. And the most compelling narratives are always those full of conflict. On the evening of the 14th, at 10 p.m. Beijing time. In less than 20 minutes, it had already garnered over 2 million interactions. In a short time, a war of opinions erupted. The Lucy fandom felt their idol was being belittled, while the Yibo fandom countered with data and evidence. They pointed out that Wang Yibo was currently under exclusive contracts with 2 major projects, making it understandable that he would reject other offers. However, the online world didn't wait for clarification, it preferred fire to water. If anyone went into the Weibo comments section that night, they would have seen 2 worlds colliding. On one hand, there were kind words, prayers, and support. On the other, accusations, taunts, and sarcasm that pierced like needles. Wang Yibo's fandom, known for its strong and disciplined nature, immediately organized a movement. They tweeted thousands of tweets with the hashtag #SupportWangYibo, trying to drown out the negative posts. However, Zhao Lusi's fandom was no less vocal, posting old interview clips, behind-the-scenes videos, and even snippets of variety shows, trying to prove that their idol couldn't possibly have a problem with anyone. Meanwhile, Yang Zi's fandom stood in the middle, but not entirely neutral. They felt their idol's name was being dragged into the scandal for no reason, and this inflamed their emotions as well. Finally, 3 major fandoms collided in one digital space. All claimed to be defending their idol, but slowly, the atmosphere shifted from defense to attack. Wang Yibo was never contacted for the project mentioned. In the quiet of the night, Wang Yibo stared at his phone screen. Thousands of messages poured in from fans, some filled with support, some tears, and some anger. And that's what makes him different. For many, rejecting a project is considered a risky move. But for Yibo, it's part of his principle: not every project is worth pursuing. Some scripts are too weak. Some directors are too compromising. And some projects are simply focused on ratings, not quality. Yibo doesn't want to be part of that. Behind Yibo's silence, his management team is working smartly. They haven't issued any clarifications, but are managing the pace of exposure. Meanwhile, neither Zhao Lusi nor Yang Zi has made any direct statements. Both have chosen to remain professional, continuing their activities as usual. However, behind the scenes, their fans are trading barbs on Weibo. Some accuse Yibo of being rude, while others accuse Lucy of being too aggressive. The fan war lasted for weeks, and in the end, there was no winner. But what's most interesting, according to Chinese entertainment industry observers, is the changing dynamics of popularity. During the conflict, Wang Yibo's number of new followers actually increased dramatically, demonstrating that even amidst the controversy, he retains public attention. In the bright world of entertainment, shadows always follow. But for Wang Yibo, shadows aren't a threat, they're part of his silhouette. And perhaps that's where his charm lies. Amidst the light and shadow, he walks with his head held high. On a quiet morning, online media began to highlight Wang Yibo's latest activities. Photos from the filming of a new drama were released. Videos of his intense dance practice appeared on streaming platforms. Longtime fans were relieved, new ones began to arrive, and even those who were previously skeptical began to appreciate his composure and dedication. Wang Yibo proved that with focus on his work, discipline, and consistency, an artist can turn rumors into an opportunity to strengthen his image. He demonstrated that composure doesn't mean passivity, but rather a smart strategy in a noisy world. Producers, directors, and sponsors began to view Wang Yibo differently. He wasn't just a popular celebrity, but also a rare symbol of professionalism. Meanwhile, fans were doing their most powerful thing through Wang Yibo's work. Wang Yibo's rise wasn't just about PR strategy. He taught something deeper: composure and integrity are far more valuable than instant laurels. That same evening, Yibo returned to the dance studio, looked in the mirror, and smiled. Smiling not because the rumors were over, but because he knew he remained himself amidst the storm. Night fell over Beijing. The streetlights glowed softly, reflecting the shadows of the tall buildings. In Wang Yibo's practice studio, soft music still played from the speakers, and a lone figure stood in the center of the room, staring at his reflection in the mirror. Wang Yibo stood in the studio, staring at his dancing reflection in the mirror. Every movement was a symbol of his long journey of falling, rising, being tested, and remaining steadfast. Not for the spotlight, not for praise, but for himself as an artist who continues to grow. In the fast-changing entertainment world, where rumors and public opinion can come like a storm, Yibo shows that true stars are not measured by how often they are seen, but by how they remain themselves in the spotlight. In every story of fame, there is one often forgotten secret: that silence is not a sign of weakness, and calm is not a sign of indifference. In a world full of noise, sometimes a silent step is the strongest. And for Wang Yibo, that move wasn't just about preserving his career, it was also about preserving his soul. The stage lights dimmed, leaving Wang Yibo's silhouette standing still. That's the story behind the rumors that rocked the Chinese entertainment world. Wang Yibo proved that silence isn't weakness, and professionalism is true strength. If you're inspired by the journey of a star who remains focused amidst a storm of opinion, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and activate the notification bell to stay up to date on the exciting stories of your favorite idols only on China Idol Spotlight. See you in the next episode, Spotlight Friends, where we'll reveal thrilling and inspiring stories from the world of stars.